Discover the hidden secrets of celibacy and chastity for a profound awakening. I never expected a single dream to change everything, but as I lay in the darkness, my heart raced. My skin prickled with an unseen energy. There was something brewing, something just out of reach, lurking in the shadows of my mind. Celibacy and chastity were words I had only whispered, hidden behind fleeting desires. But in that moment of stillness, those words transformed into a haunting echo. The morning light filtered through my curtains, casting patterns on my walls. I watched them dance, trapped yet free, and felt a growing sense of doubt. Was it madness to seek such things? I ached for a deeper connection, and yet the louder the world called, the more the whispers inside me grew. I closed my eyes and took a breath. Images swirled in my vast ocean under a cloudless sky, the waves crashing fiercely against the rocks. This was my heart, turbulent yet yearning for calm. I felt nature's pulse. The rustling leaves seemed to speak. Each rustle whispered, "Listen, feel." What was I missing? The town buzzed around me, faces washed in the flickering glow of their devices. Yet I felt so deeply alone. The air crackled with electricity. Birds flitted above, an odd ballet in an otherwise ordinary morning. What did they know? Fluttering wildly, blissfully unbothered by the weight of their choices. I could sense it. The tension built, like threads tightly wound around my chest, pushing and pulling me to look deeper. Maybe it was foolishness, this pursuit, but every flutter of my heart spoke of hope. A vision came to me, image of a tree, ancient yet vibrant at the same time, its roots irrevocably entwined with the earth. What if self-discipline was the key to freedom? Yet, with every realization, I sensed shadows creeping closer, unanswered questions lurking just beyond my vision. The deeper I reached, the more convoluted the path became. What did all this mean? What transformation awaited me? And then it all stopped. The world around me faded into a hushed silence. I stood on the brink of understanding, but what would I find if I took a step forward? Would it bring light or darkness? Would my spirit awaken, or would I lose my way entirely? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon, and while you're there, smash that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The day unfolded like a tapestry, vibrant yet frayed in places. With my heart still echoing the weight of the morning's revelations, I found myself drawn to a little cafe on the corner of my street. It was a familiar haunt, but today, the scent of brewing coffee seemed to carry a message. Each sip resonated with the unease alighting my spirit. The barista, a woman with deep-set eyes and a knowing smile, caught my gaze, as if she held secrets I longed to unveil. "You're searching for something?" she remarked casually, placing my cup in front of me. Her words, simple and unassuming, felt like a jolt of electricity that I chuckled nervously. "Aren't we all?" Her smile deepened, revealing a warmth that felt oddly nurturing. "Perhaps, but true seekers feel their quest in the very marrow of their bones." I pondered her words, the remnants of my dream crashing against the walls of everyday life. Here, in this corner cafe, a world buzzed around me, clinking of cups, soft laughter, the whisper of pages turning from a book someone was reading nearby. But within that chorus of life, I could hear the subtle thrum of my own doubts and desires, dull yet undeniable. As I turned to leave, a glimpse of movement caught my eye. A small, tattered book left on the shelf behind the counter, its spine broken, pages yellowed with age, called to me, and without thinking, I approached it. Known only as The Way of the Heart, it was an anthology of reflections on love, solitude, and spiritual awakening. After a few moments of hesitation, I bought it, feeling a thrill course through me. Perhaps within its pages lay the answers to my ongoing questions. The walk home felt electric, the air thick with possibility. As I flipped through the pages, phrases leaped out like flames, kindling my heart. True love is the liberation of the spirit, one declared, and growth requires the courage to emerge from one's cocoon. That evening, I immersed myself in the book, the world fading into insignificance around me. Each word was an invitation to reflection, but the deeper I dove, the more I realized there were layers yet untouched. The idea of celibacy and chastity transformed before my eyes. No longer just doctrines relegated to some distant horizon, but rather living, breathing concepts that demanded clarity and vulnerability. The wisest souls echoed through the text, urging one to not merely suppress desires but to understand them, to embrace the unsettling disquiet that comes from longing. With this realization, a new wave of questions surged within me. Was celibacy merely the absence of physical relationships, or was it a reconfiguration of how we connect, not just to others but to ourselves? Sleep eluded me that night as my thoughts spun endlessly. I tossed and turned until I finally closed my eyes. In those half-dreams, the tree from my earlier vision returned. Yet it appeared different now, its branches laden with blossoms, heavily fragrant. The roots remained firm in the soil, yet the flowers whispered, "There is beauty in both longing and restraint." Morning light beckoned me from the window, and as I peered outside, I noticed a change. The birds gathered in a chorus, their songs winding together as if crafting a message just for me. A vibrant red cardinal perched on a branch, its bright plumage a stark contrast to the muted greens behind it. I felt a jolt, a reminder that sometimes, standing out requires courage amidst the ordinary. Each thought spiraled deeper yet branched outward. What hidden stories linger beneath the surface of connection? What truths hid in the spaces between silence and sound? The deeper I ventured, the more unresolved mysteries surfaced, tantalizing in their complexity. With a heart both buoyant and heavy, I stepped outside, letting the fresh morning air embrace me. An unsettling question hovered over my journey, persistent and unyielding. Could celibacy truly lead to a profound awakening if it meant confronting the very desires I tried to escape? As I walked, a lingering thought took root. The journey ahead was not just about abstaining from physicality but about seeking the essence of what it means to love. Would this exploration ransom my spirit? Or was it a doorway to an extraordinary truth waiting just beyond my grasp? The sun set behind a veil of clouds, casting a muted glow over the city, a gentle reminder of the transient nature of each moment. With the book tucked under my arm, I wandered through the familiar streets, whose very corners now felt alive with significance. Every step felt like a question reverberating with a desire to explore the depths of my own heart. As I approached the local park, I paused to observe families scattered across the lawns, laughter spilling into the cool evening air. The juxtaposition of their joys against my introspection remained pronounced. They embraced connection effortlessly, while I felt wrapped in the tender cocoon of my solitude. In the distance, a figure lingered near the old oak tree, its trunk gnarled and storied, much like the questions swirling in my mind. Curiosity urging me, I approached. The figure, a man cloaked in a ragged shawl, appeared lost in thought. His face was etched with lines that told tales of both ease and pain. "You are more than you know," he spoke, the gravel in his voice betraying wisdom gathered through years. I shared my journey, my contemplation of celibacy, and the yearning for deeper connection. He nodded, the flicker of understanding in his eyes illuminating something within me. "Every desire is a compass point guiding you inward. The surface is merely the beginning," he said, gesturing toward the tree. "Much like this oak, our roots delve into the earth, unseen and often ignored. You must dig deep to find the truth of who you are beneath the longing." His words resonated, compelling me to visualize my own roots intertwining with the spirit of love and connection. Was I prepared to unearth the depths of my own desires, to confront what lay beneath? But how can I be sure I am on the right path? I asked, uncertainty dancing across my heart. "Trust the whispers of your spirit," he replied, closing his eyes as if inviting a deeper communion with the air around us. "They will lead you to the signs meant for you. Do not fear the silence. It often holds the answers." Intrigued, I left the park, a mixture of doubt and inspiration blossoming within me. As I ambled along the tree-lined streets, the shadows cast by the fading light began to shift a dance of obscurity and clarity. I felt an odd pull to the river that wound through the town, a channel of vibrant energy and purpose. As I reached the water's edge, I looked into its depths, the reflection of the twilight merging with my OWN and in that moment, I understood. The journey was not merely about celibacy as an absence, but a Presencian invitation to reconceptualize love in all its forms, not just the physical. A call to embrace the entirety of my experiences, inscribing each moment with intention and awareness. Was it possible that the love I sought from others mirrored the love I needed to cultivate within myself? As I stood there, the breeze kissing my skin, a vision fluttered like the pages of my cherished book. Perhaps the true awakening lay not in the rejection of desire but in its exploration and acceptance. The tumult of emotions that surged within me now felt like the undercurrent of a river, flowing with a purpose both mysterious and exhilarating. Yet, an echo of uncertainty whispered, "What of the loneliness that this journey often evokes? How does one reconcile the longing with the solitude?" In that quiet moment of reflection by the water, another question began to take shape. Could the exploration of celibacy open doors to a greater understanding of love's essence, thereby illuminating the shadows that often feel overwhelmingly persistent? Would I be brave enough to embrace this unknown road, illuminated by both desire and stillness? The answers danced just out of reach, teasing me towards the next step of this spiritual expedition. The twilight deepened, igniting the sky with hues of lavender and indigo as I turned from the river, a sense of urgency and clarity propelling me forward. I felt the world shifting around me, ready to unveil more of its mysteries. The park, once a mere destination, now appeared as a sanctuary of exploration. It beckoned me back, whispering promises of deeper revelations. I retraced my steps, the cobblestones beneath carrying me with newfound determination. The man by the oak tree had stirred something within, a persistent questioning that begged for answers. Entering the park once more, the laughter of families had morphed into a symphony of celebration, illuminating the evening as if to challenge my contemplation with its vibrant energy. As I walked among them, I noticed a woman sitting alone on a nearby bench, her gaze fixed on the gathering without any intent to join in. An air of quiet melancholy surrounded her, echoing my own feeling of solitude amid a crowd. The universe was weaving threads of connection, guiding me towards her. I found myself taking a seat beside her, intrigued by the story hidden behind her quiet observance. "Hello," I offered, breaking the stillness. She turned to me, her expression softening, as if someone had finally acknowledged the depths of her loneliness. "I've come here to reflect," she admitted, her voice a gentle breeze among the laughter. "It feels like I'm missing something important, but I don't know what it is." Her honesty stirred the embers of my journey. "I'm in a similar place," I confessed, sharing the essence of my spiritual pilgrimage, how desire and celibacy were entwined in my quest for understanding. Her eyes widened, shimmering with recognition. "It's as if we're all searching for connection, yet we often build walls around ourselves, afraid to explore what that might mean." Her insight struck a chord deep within me, further fleshing out the conversation I'd shared with the man beneath the oak. Was that the truth of the longing within me? A call for community, for kinship, not just from one person but a greater web of relationships that could nourish my soul? As we exchanged thoughts, I wondered aloud about the invisible threads of love binding us all. "Maybe the loneliness isn't a void," she pondered aloud. "Perhaps it's a call to deepen our connections in ways we haven't yet considered. Getting to know ourselves, what directs our desires, could be the window through which we let others in." An understanding dawned, illuminating the complexity of my solitude. I had often seen my celibacy as a barren expanse, a desert stripped of connection. Yet, could it be more akin to a garden waiting to be tended? Each seed of my desire could be a means to forge authentic relationships with myself, nature, and others. Suddenly, the laughter of the children and the cheerful conversations around us morphed into a metaphor for abundancy and abundance I had previously overlooked. I imagined my heart as a tapestry woven with threads of different colors, each one representing a different relationship, friendship, family, and even the serenity I found within myself. As I contemplated this, I caught the flicker of a firefly dancing among the rich foliage nearby, illuminating my path momentarily before fading away. Its luminosity mirrored the transient nature of life, a constant reminder of the fleeting moments of connection that could spark joy, even in solitude. In this seemingly simple encounter, I realized that deepening my relationship with my desires might indeed be the key to unlocking a broader experience of love. The river of contemplation swelled within me, stirring questions that rippled across the surface of my consciousness. Would the exploration of my inner landscape allow me to rewrite the narrative of loneliness? Could understanding my own heart enable me to form deeper connections with those around me? As I prepared to say farewell to the woman, leaving our equally shared revelation echoing in the air, I felt the weight of potential lifting my spirit. The night sky stretched infinitely above, a dome of mystery under which my journey continued. What awaited me beyond this moment remained uncertain, but with every step, I felt myself becoming more attuned to the signs the universe had to offer. As the evening deepened and the first stars began to twinkle, I lingered on the cusp of anticipation, allowing the unanswered questions to dance freely in my heart. What if each solitary moment I embraced could lead me to discover new intersections of connection? And in this delicate fusion of solitude and togetherness, what truths laid waiting to be unveiled? As the stars began to dot the twilight sky, I left the woman behind, our brief exchange echoing like a haunting melody within me. With each step, the park transformed into an ethereal landscape of shadows and whispers, pulling me deeper into its embrace. The laughter and joy faded into a soft hum, replaced by the rustling of leaves, a symphony played by the night. I wandered further along a winding path, adorned with the silver shimmer of the moonlight. It led me past flowering bushes, their blossoms heavy with fragrance, calling out to my senses as if to remind me of life's simple joys. With each inhale, I felt the sweetness wrap around me, filling the hollow spaces I had so desperately tried to ignore. Pausing by a small pond, I was drawn to the stillness of the water, its surface a mirror reflecting the cosmos above. Kneeling by the edge, the stars danced in the dark pool. It was mesmerizing, and for a moment, I lost myself in the breath of nature, a reminder of the greater tapestry of existence beyond my own struggles. The ripples within the pond stirred reflections and questions, beckoning me to look deeper. The image of my own heart surfaced, its complexity like the questions swirling in my mind. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows, interrupting my reverie. An older man approached, his presence commanding yet serene. He moved with the grace of someone who had long ago surrendered to the rhythm of the world. Caught between the reflections, are you? He asked, a knowing smile gracing his features. Yes, I replied, hesitant yet intrigued. I'm exploring the nature of solitude and connection. His gaze shifted to the lake, as if seeing not just its surface but the depths beyond. Every reflection shows what we choose to see, he said. What you see in this pond is a whisper of your inner landscape. The solitude is a mirror, but it's also a gift. It allows you to confront what lies beneath the surface, where your desires and fears mingle. His words floated around me, each imbued with an ancient wisdom, stirring memories of my earlier encounters. I thought of the woman on the bench, how loneliness had unfolded into a conversation about the essence of connection. But how do I navigate this solitude? I asked, longing for clarity amidst swirling uncertainties. The journey isn't about navigating. It is about embracing, he advised, his voice calm like a flowing stream. Celibacy, chastity, not rejections of connection, but invitations to explore where desire genuinely leads you. His eyes glimmered in the dim light, revealing a truth I hadn't fully grasped. Every desire speaks a language. You must learn to listen. His presence draped over me like a warm blanket, rekindling my curiosity about the transformative power of desire. Was it possible that my own yearnings were not mere distractions, but rather keys to deeper understandings? I felt the urge to delve into that idea, to listen more closely to the whispers of my heart rather than the loud clamors of societal expectations. Then, in the distance, I noticed movement, people gathering around a small bonfire, flickering light illuminating their faces, casting playful shadows, laughter growing louder as families and friends surrounded the warmth. As I was drawn toward the glow, an idea pushed its way into my thoughts. Perhaps my journey was not solely about my solitude, but about how I could integrate that solitude with meaningful connections. Join them, the old man urged, his voice like the soft rustle of leaves. Be a part of the dance, the community you seek. In his words, I found both urgency and encouragement, and I felt myself moving instinctively toward the flickering light. As I approached, it felt as if the boundaries of my solitude were beginning to blur, merging with the vibrancy of shared experience. The sounds of stories being told, laughter erupting, and music being played created a mosaic of warmth. I stood on the periphery, hesitant yet entranced, absorbing the energy emanating from this gathering. The warmth of the fire tugged at my heart, teasing out feelings I hadn't acknowledged for far too long. Could I step into the circle without losing the essence of my journey? A child tumbled into my path, giggling as they clutched a stick that served as a makeshift sword. The innocence of their play sparked a resurgence of wonder within me. In that moment, I began to understand that my journey wasn't just about solitary reflection but also about experiencing the joy that connection can bring. As I turned to step further into the circle, I pondered, could the act of allowing myself to be part of something bigger lead to a new understanding of my desires? Would it unravel new layers of love and connection hidden within? In fusion with the joyous chaos around me, I marveled at how intertwined each flicker of light was, each laugh shared, each story told. A cosmic reminder of the divine connection binding all beings. Yet questions lingered like shadows around the fire. How can I dance without losing myself in the rhythm? What if within this vast circle of humanity lies the key to unlocking the essence of my spiritual awakening? With every heartbeat and every flicker of light, I ventured farther into the dance of possibilities, eager to discover the hidden secrets of celibacy and chastity that promised a profound awakening. As I stepped closer, the warmth embraced me, a sonorous invitation into a journey yet to be fully realized. The fire crackled, sending sparks into the night sky like tiny stars reborn. I felt its warmth radiate against my skin, wrapping me in comfort, while the laughter and storytelling filled the air with palpable energy. As I stood at the edge, the lines of my solitude began to dissolve, each note of shared joy beckoning me to unravel further into the thrumming pulse of this gathering. Drawn in by the magic of the moment, I crossed the threshold, embracing the unfamiliarity that accompanied stepping into a collective. Faces turned to me, a tapestry of kindness and curiosity reflected in their eyes. A woman with an infectious smile gestured for me to sit beside her. "You look like someone who seeks," she said, her voice lilting with the warmth of the fire. "Perhaps I do," I replied, feeling the flicker of vulnerability wash over me. "But am also unsure of what I seek. Isn't that the beauty of it?" she responded, her laughter mingling with the crackles of the flames. "To seek without knowing? Share with us your journey." I hesitated, caught off guard by the invitation's sincerity. But as I opened my mouth to speak, the stories of my inner exploration spilled forth, unraveling layers of solitude intertwined with yearning and desire. The audience listened with rapt attention, their mutual vulnerability igniting a connection I hadn't anticipated. In our own quests for understanding, the woman continued, we often forget the magic that comes from sharing. The essence of celibacy isn't just about physical restraint, but about using that space to strengthen the roots of our connections. Sometimes, it takes leaving behind personal desires to uncover the ties that bind us. Her words resonated like a ringing bell within me. The notion of celibacy transformed. It appeared less as a barren landscape of denial and more like fertile ground, ready to bloom with intentionality and awareness. An elder man nearby nodded sagely, his face illuminated by the firelight. Desires can lead us astray when we forget to align them with our higher selves. They are meant to guide us toward authentic connections both with others and with the divine, he said. The fire's glow seemed to pulse in rhythm with my heart, and I began to reflect on what it truly meant to desire. Could it be that my yearning wasn't merely for companionship, but for belonging? And what if my solitude was part of a deeper calling to understand not just myself, but my place within the grand tapestry of humanity? As the stories continued to flow, I felt a sense of communion among the gathered souls. Each shared tale was woven into a larger narrative, a reminder that we are all travelers on this path, navigating the highs and lows together. In that tapestry, I found threads of my own story, images of connection, moments of grace, and the ephemeral beauty of simply being alive together. A folk song erupted from the group, laughter intertwining with melody as voices rose to meet the stars. I felt an urge to join in, to be part of this chorus echoing through the twilight. I sang not just with my voice but with my spirit, binding my essence to the moment, opening myself to the connections being forged in the soft glow of the fire. Yet, within this awakening, questions continued to swirl in my mind. As I danced between the joy of connection and the depths of solitude, I wondered, how can I harness my desires to serve a greater purpose beyond mere fulfillment? If celibacy can be an invitation to deeper understanding, what specific steps can I take to cultivate the conditions necessary for that understanding to bloom? As the night wore on, the gathering ebbed and flowed like the tide, and with each passing moment, the glow of the fire illuminated parts of myself long hidden away. I dove deeper into the dance, allowing the music's rhythm to guide me. And still, as the stars twinkled overhead, I pondered the delicate balance between solitude and connection, between the yearnings of my heart and the call of the collective. Looking around at the faces aglow with joy, I felt the indescribable urge to forge meaningful bonds, without losing sight of my own essence. What if, within this community, I could find the strength and wisdom to embrace both the sacredness of solitude and the exuberance of connection? With the fire crackling and the night swirling in a dance of stars, I surrendered to the journey ahead, 1 inch closer to unraveling the mysteries held within the heart's depths, 2 steps forward, perhaps, toward understanding the sacred nature of celibacy and chastity. Yet, as I twirled closer to this newfound understanding, a flicker of doubt crept in. Could the dance of connection lead to revelations I was not yet ready to embrace? And in the back of my mind lingered the question, what new truths awaited me at the intersection of solitude and shared experience? The fire continued to crackle and pop, sparks spiraling upwards, disappearing into the vastness of the night. Beneath the choir of voices and laughter, an unfamiliar stirring welled within me, a curiosity that held a tinge of the sacred. It signaled both a readiness and a trepidation, an invitation to unfold a deeper layer of understanding within my own heart. As the chorus of folk songs faded, the woman who had first welcomed me leaned closer, her warmth a balm to my restless spirit. "Tell me," she began, her tones soft yet piercing, "what is your truth beneath the yearning?" Her question lingered in the air, weighty with potential. I looked into the flames, tracing the paths of the dancing light. My mind flitted back to moments of aching solitude when desires felt like heavy chains pulling me down. Perhaps I hesitated, feeling mindfulness home in on my search. My truth lies in realizing how desires can be paths of discovery rather than destinations. A chorus of affirmations erupted from those ensconced around the fire, their eyes gleaming with understanding. The elder man spoke once more, his voice firm yet gentle. Desire, when harnessed, possesses the power to illuminate our darkest corners. What complicates the sacred is when it becomes entwined solely with the ego's wishes. And what is the ego but an intricate tapestry woven by our perceptions of love, loss, and longing? The flames leapt higher, as if to punctuate his words. In that moment, the flicker of doubt trod softly upon my heart. Ego, love, longing. What a fragile dance they performed, each a note in the symphony of our experiences. I recalled threads of my past. Moments when what I thought I desired revealed itself as a veil, obscuring the deeper, unmistakable callings of my soul. There it was again, the balance between my individual truth and the collective energy around me. So, how does one navigate that dance? I ventured, my voice steadying against the curiosity that enveloped me. The woman smiled knowingly. Awareness is the first step. Each time you desire something, ask yourself who it is benefiting. Is it your spirit yearning or merely your senses longing for gratification? When we create space for authenticity, something extraordinary happens. We realize that we are not separate from each other. Our yearnings are intricately woven into a greater design. As she spoke, I felt layers within me shifting, like soil being turned over to reveal the sprouting of new insights. Could it be that my journey towards celibacy was more than a mere reframing of absence? Was this exploration an invitation to connect not just with others, but also with the divine aspect of love that transcends all forms? The questions ignited a subtle excitement within me, yet still, shadows of uncertainty continued to lurk in the background. Yet, what if I am unprepared for what lies within that space? I asked, vulnerability threading through my voice. Another voice chimed in from the circle, a younger man with eyes bright with intensity. Preparation comes with presence. The unknown is scary, yes, but it is also where transformation begins. The spirit yearns for evolution, pushing you towards uncharted territories. Trust the process, and let each step serve as a portal to greater truths. The fire blazed, and for an instant, it illuminated the faces around me like a gallery of shared human experience, each visage a story of triumphs, sorrows, and a collective desire to seek the essence of our being. Could I trust in this unfolding? Trust that what I feared could be the very key to unlocking wisdom. As I surrendered further into the warmth of the gathering, I felt the stirrings of revelations waiting just beyond the veil of my awareness. How was I to reconcile the delicate interplay between solitude and this newfound connection? What would it mean to honor my spirit amidst this collective journey, to cultivate both love for others and love for myself? Gazing into the depths of the fire, I pondered the silence that often accompanies profound understanding, the quiet solitude where insights blossom. Unannounced, the flickering embers whispered secrets, hinting at wisdom grounded in a fundamental question. What would it be like to harness the energy of my desires, transforming them into platforms for growth and awakening? With the stars above beginning to dim, melding into the horizon, I understood that the journey was far from over. Each question, each moment of doubt, served as a stepping stone toward a greater truth. Yet, with those realizations came a question that hovered in the stillness growing around me. How do I cultivate the sacredness of solitude in the midst of the unfolding collective experience without losing myself in the process? As the night deepened, so too did my commitment to finding the answers that awaited me in the shadows of my heart. The embers glowed softly as the night deepened, and a blanket of silence embraced our gathering. This cocoon of stillness invited a closer examination of what lay beneath the surface of my thoughts and feelings. I glanced around, noting the faces around the fire, each one a vessel of stories, bearing the weight of both joy and sorrow, hope and resignation. The world beyond the fire's light felt distant and hushed, as if holding its breath in reverence to our shared moment. Yet, within me, the restless energy pushed forth, unraveling a deeper urge to ask questions that flitted like fireflies just out of reach. The warmth of the gathering enveloped me, but my heart weighed heavy with an uncertainty that felt like its own entity. Where do desires truly arise from? I ventured, my voice softer now, almost hesitant. The wisdom of the words exchanged earlier began to fester, a seed planted in nutrient-rich soil. Are they born from a place of truth, or are they reflections cast by the world around us? My question hung in the air, suspended like the smoke curling upward into the night. The older man, whose presence was a blending of strength and vulnerability, turned his gaze to me. Desires can emerge from both realms, he replied thoughtfully. Some are whispers from your spirit, guiding you toward authentic growth, while others are echoes of societal norms and external narrative, shaping your inner landscape. Each requires discernment. Your sacred path lies in differentiating which calls to your essence and which distracts you from it. The way he spoke resonated with something distant yet familiar within me, kindling a spark of understanding. A realization began to blossom. Perhaps my journey into celibacy wasn't merely about standing apart, but rather leaning deeper into the inquiry of my desires and intentions. A soft wind stirred the embers, coaxing them back into dance, much like the flickering questions stirring within me. Just then, the younger man who had previously spoken leaned forward, his expression earnest. One could say that celibacy is a doorway, he mused, an opportunity to redirect your energy. It invites you to shift the focus from mere physical connection to a more profound understanding of love. What if your journey isn't about absence, but about presence, an invitation to be wholly in yourself? His words echoed in the spaces between my thoughts, resonating with truths I had not yet fully comprehended. I nodded, but uncertainty prowled nearby, coaxing questions to the surface once more. But what if my journey involves moments of loneliness? How do I navigate the solitude that celibacy may evoke while seeking deeper connections? The elder man smiled gently, reading the cadence of my heart. Loneliness, dear one, can be a teacher of its own. It has the uncanny ability to reveal parts of ourselves that societal noise often obscures. Embrace it, and you may find that the stillness you fear holds a reservoir of insight. Solitude can carve out sacred spaces where genuine connection burgeons not only with others, but with the divine essence that smiles in every whisper of wind and every flicker of light. A chill ran through the night air, and I pulled my shawl tighter around my shoulders, feeling the weight of his perspective. Each suggestion felt like a soft hand guiding me gently toward the precipice of something profound. Suddenly, I became aware of the sounds that surrounded us, the rustle of leaves, the soft murmurs of the night, and the pulse of my own heart, synchronized with the world around me. Each sound felt alive, a reminder of the interconnectedness of all beings. What did it mean, I wondered, to seek such connections while remaining anchored in my own truth? As the fire crackled anew, releasing a burst of sparks into the velvety night, I pondered the delicate balance of receiving and giving, of solitude and companionship. Could I carve my path without dimming the light of others? Even amidst these reflections, the deeper mystery shrouded me. What were the precise lessons that celibacy and chastity held for me? What insights awaited me amid the stillness of my heart, and how would I know when I had truly begun to receive them? The reflections deepened like the hush of night, illuminating new questions while integrating old ones, each one a thread in the tapestry of my spiritual exploration, each call leading me closer to an understanding that still felt just beyond my reach. As the embers slowly faded to glowing red, I felt a reverence for the journey ahead, a promise of deeper encounters awaiting in the unfolding chapters of my quest. As the fire's glow dimmed, shadows danced along the edges of our gathering, where each flicker seemed to animate the very questions swirling within me. The night deepened, draping itself in a cloak of mystery filled with unspoken thoughts, threading them through the very essence of my being. This time, as silence enveloped us, it felt almost sacred, as if the night sky was poised to reveal something profound. I turned my gaze towards the elder man, inspired to dive even deeper into our exploration. What do you think lies on the other side of solitude? I asked, the words bubbling forth with a mix of curiosity and resolve. Is there a purpose behind the emptiness we sometimes feel, especially in the absence of intimate connection? He smiled knowingly, the lines on his face crinkling like the pages of an ancient book. Solitude, he began, is often a mirror reflecting what we need to confront. On one side, it brings forth the vulnerabilities and fears we possess, those feelings of loneliness you've mentioned. But often, if we dare to look deeper, solitude can also reveal profound clarity. It connects us with our inner wisdom, inviting insights that are easily drowned out in the noise of companionship. As his words resonated within me, a warm gust of wind brushed my cheeks, carrying with it the scent of moss and earth, a reminder of the interconnectedness of all elements around us. The rustle of the nearby forest wrapped around us, imbuing our surroundings with hints of hidden messages that begged to be uncovered. Could it be that the yearning for connection often stemmed from a deeper desire to know myself? With each question I asked, my understanding of celibacy began to transform. It was no longer an act of denial but a conscious choice, a voyage into the essence of authenticity. Yet, one element still hovered like a specter, chilling the edges of my newfound illumination. How do I learn to sit with this discomfort? I queried, the worry creeping back in. When craving for another's warmth arises, how do I separate that longing from the deeper journey? Ah, the heart's longing, the younger man interjected, his voice resonating with empathy, is perhaps one of our greatest struggles. But in that longing lies a gateway. You might find it helpful to explore what these desires reveal about you. Are they pointing you towards unresolved emotions? Do they awaken dreams long dormant? Rather than suppress them, sit quietly with them, like a patient listener, and ask what they seek to reveal. I mulled over the profoundness of his insight, feeling the intertwining of desire and understanding. Yet, this exploration sparked another question, the kind that flickers with urgency. But what if the pathway towards self-discovery becomes too lonely? Can I truly walk this journey with integrity while harboring the very human need for connection? Absolutely, said the elder, his steady gaze grounding my anxious thoughts. Not all connections are physical. Seek out friendships, community, and the bonds woven with those who share your journey, however fleeting that may be. Find those souls who resonate with your quest, for they will act as mirrors, reflecting back the shadows that need to be illuminated. The fire crackled, releasing a fragrant plume of smoke that danced upwards, mingling with the starlit sky. Each spark felt like a tiny Biacona sign that perhaps my so-called solitude could be transformed into a sanctuary of sorts, a place of connection not just with others but deep within myself as well. Yet as these revelations intertwined, a deeper question emerged unbidden, weaving itself tenderly into my thoughts like the threads of a tapestry. How do I differentiate between a longing that is transformative and one that is merely a distraction? The questions lingered in the still night air, enveloping me in their embrace, igniting an insatiable curiosity that seemed to beckon me forward. It became clear that the lessons of celibacy and chastity were yet to unfold, with truths still hidden in the depths of exploration waiting to be revealed like stars emerging from the shadows with each passing moment. As the embers faded and the coolness of dawn threatened to caress the horizon, I felt the stirring of a profound awakening, an awakening that was not anchored in answers but anchored in the embrace of the questions themselves. What transformative truths awaited me within that uncharted territory of solitude? The journey was far from complete, and a new chapter beckoned, a chapter yet unwritten, pulsing with the promise of illumination and understanding. As dawn approached, its soft light teased the edges of the horizon, hinting at possibilities yet to unfold. The moon began to fade, reluctantly surrendering its reign to the sun, just as I felt my own reluctance to let go of the warmth of the fire and the magic of the night. The laughter and stories shared had become woven threads in the fabric of my spirit, igniting something profound deep within me. And the hush of the early morning, I shifted towards the gathering, my heart swelling with gratitude for the strangers who had unexpectedly become kindred souls in this shared experience. Every face illuminated by the fire reminded me that connection transcends the physical. It encompasses vulnerability, empathy, and an unwavering willingness to forge deeper ties that echo through the heart. The elder man, with his wise and weathered gaze, noticed my contemplative silence. "The dawn of a new understanding is upon you," he said, his voice a soft balm against the cool morning air. "Embrace the light, for it carries with it the lessons of your journey." Celibacy and chastity have unveiled a path towards self-discovery, revealing how our desires are not mere burdens, but are luminous beacons guiding us inward. I took a moment to absorb his words, feeling the weight of shared understanding infuse the air. But how do we embrace our desires without losing ourselves in their chaos? How do I navigate this intricate dance of longing and restraint? I asked, my voice quaking with the tremors of uncertainty. "By recognizing that within every desire lives a truth," he replied, leaning closer as if to share a secret. "Each longing pulls you toward an essential aspect of yourself, your need for connection, your need for acceptance, your need for love. To harness them is to engage with that truth, to let it illuminate the path ahead. Celibacy is not an end. Rather, it is an opportunity to delve deeper into the wellspring of love that already resides within you." His words resonated deeply, each syllable a drop of rain, nurturing the seeds of understanding planted in my heart. The essence of my journey began crystallizing before me. Celibacy was not an avoidance but a calling to cultivate an ever-deepening companionship with the self, to explore the richness of my being. The solitude I feared could be transformed into sacred space, a garden where self-love and connection could flourish. As the sun broke free from the horizon, spreading its golden light, I felt the barriers that had confined me to a false understanding of love begin to dissolve. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath, inviting the soft warmth and illumination to fill the hollows of my heart. I envisioned the tree from my earlier visions, its roots delving deep into the soil. Each root, a moment of hardship, joy, or understanding that supported my growth. Then, softly cradled by its branches, lay my desires. Not mere distractions, but Dharma guiding me towards connection and awakening. With each breath, I felt lighter, freer, as if the very air around me intertwined with my spirit in delicate harmony. I recognized that my journey had illuminated the truth that by nurturing my connection to myself, I could expand my capacity to love others both intimately and platonically. The love I had yearned for, the connections I had navigated, were no longer confined to the realm of relationships. Rather, they blossomed into a vibrant tapestry of shared experiences. I opened my eyes, filled with a newfound conviction, and looked around at those gathered. Each individual bore their own story, their own longings, and yet we were all bound by the invisible thread of human experience. The laughter of the night, the stories woven around the fire, they were not just reflections of our desires, but an invitation to explore the essence of love, both within and beyond ourselves. Will you join me in celebrating this awakening? I spoke, my voice ringing through the morning air, buoyed by the pulse of my heart. Each face turned towards me, a mosaic of curiosity and warmth, and I felt the tender grasp of connection wrap itself around us anew as morning enveloped us in its embrace. I understood that the essence of celibacy, chastity, and connection lay in their union, each experience layered with complexity and truth. The journey was not merely a solitary pilgrimage but a dance among souls, an intermingling of desires that wove our hearts together in a net of understanding and acceptance. In that moment of clarity, surrounded by my newfound companions, I realized I was not just seeking to shed my old self, but to embrace the myriad facets of my existence. The journey indeed beckoned forth revelations that could flourish only in the soil of solitude, nurtured by the waters of community and connection. As the sun cast its gentle glow upon us all, illuminating the morning with its promise, a sense of profound peace enveloped me. I stood there, no longer adrift in unanswered questions but anchored in the essence of connection that bound us all, the threads of love that unfurled infinitely beyond the grips of physicality and into the sacred realm of understanding. And as the first birds sang their morning chorus, I whispered to the universe a promise to honor each heartbeat of desire that arose within me, to embrace both solitude and connection, and to celebrate the luminosity of love that flows through us all forever, interconnected and ever awakening. In that realization, I grasped the most powerful truth of all. To love is to invite both the light and the dark, acknowledging that our journey toward awakening is beautifully imperfect and endlessly evolving. As I moved forward, I carved space not only for my own longings but for the collective heartbeat of existence. Each pulse a reminder of the intricate dance of life we are all a part of. With every breath, I committed to this sacred path, a journey grounded in the intertwining of solitude and community, celibacy and intimacy, becoming a reflection of the love that lives in all of us, waiting to be awakened.